land customs as very unique.
Sometime 2-3 years before, they perform the funeral rites and others. But recently, Otumfuo has amended. That's what I stand to be corrected. He's giving directives that within 40 days, the funeral rites and everything must be done so that the new successor will be selected or appointed. It's amazing. It's a revolution. And everybody has complied with it.
The Kumasi Metropolitan Chief Executive, Ofori Ajaman Buedi, says the assembly is ready for the big event.
Whatever we had to do by way of getting the city to be in shape and in readiness for this 4 or 5 day event has been done. Over the last 2 weeks, we've been embarking on a series of cleanup exercises over weekends.
Now away from that to some other stories this morning. Vice President Professor Nana Jane-Opoku-Agyeman has underscored the critical link between maritime security and Ghana's national security and sovereignty, stressing that a robust maritime security framework is essential to protecting the nation's interests. The Vice President spoke at the 35th Ghana Navy Memorial Celebration at Sekindi in the Western region.
This occasion, while solemn, is also an opportunity to commend our servicemen and women. As a coastal nation, the preservation of Ghana's security and sovereignty is incomplete without maritime security. Although the Gulf of Guinea faces various security threats, our maritime domain remains relatively safe. We owe the security to the Ghana Navy.
The voice of Vice President Professor Jane-Opoku-Agyeman there. Now, before we go this morning, the former Vice President Dr. Bawumia says he admits that there were some mistakes the former administration and the party made while in government. On behalf of the party and the former government, he has apologized to Ghanaians and the NPP, asking delegates of the party to renew his ticket. He engaged zonal executives of the NPP during a tour of the Ashanti region.
I feel say yebeye yanye ye may be true yeah anka ye who from the background so ye enti mijina.
There were certain things we failed to do, things we shouldn't have done. Please forgive us.
Pointies ye na ya from so pacho mom find che and why.
The voice of Dr. Bawumia ending the morning news here on 3FM 92.7. This morning news on our website, 3news.com. My name is Noble Crosby Annan, and I'll be back shortly with business news.
Three FM. Accra gets busy on this frequency. 92.7 3 FM. Sunrise on 3 FM. The best in the morning. 3 FM. Accra gets busy on this frequency. 92.7 3 FM.
Hello again, welcome to the business segment on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. I am Noble Crosby Annan. Coming up, Bank of Ghana Monetary Policy Committee begins 3-day meeting with spotlight on 25% policy rate as businesses push for reduction to ease off credit.
Our hope is that government will be sensitive to all of these concerns and continue to reduce the policy rate.
Also, economist Dr. Adu Osusakode warns of only modest adjustments in key lending rates, citing city depreciation and impending utility tariff hikes. Plus, government treasury bill auction falls short of target despite improved investor sentiment. To bring you the details of these stories and a lot more, please stay with us. Let's get into the details now, shall we? And the Bank of Ghana's Monetary Policy Committee begins three-day meeting with spotlight on 25% policy rate as businesses push for a reduction to ease off credit. Businesses are hopeful for a cut to ease credit costs. Association of Ghana Industries believes such a move could spur growth and create jobs. But while the call for a reduction grows louder, economists caution that the margin of adjustment should remain modest. There's more in this report.
At its last sitting in July, the committee delivered a bold 300 basis point cut, bringing the rate down to 25% after inflation eased to its lowest level in nearly 3 years. As the committee begins its September deliberations, businesses are watching closely. The Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the Association of Ghana Industries, Chonam Akpelu, says the industry is hopeful for another cut.
If the interest rate is high, it is almost difficult to buy the money and expand our business. So our hope is that government will be sensitive to all of these concerns and continue to reduce the policy rate.
He believes cheaper credits will allow industries to expand, create more jobs and drive Ghana's recovery momentum.
The government itself is committed to implementing a 24-hour economic policy, which essentially is encouraging industry to expand and employ the many young people who are unemployed. For us to do that, we need a cheaper rate. We want to go to the bank and be able to borrow money at a rate that is competitive.
Meanwhile, economist Dr. Edu Owusu-Sarkodie shares the Association of Ghana Industries' call for a reduction, but caution that the cut should not be drastic. He points to the cedi's depreciation and expected utility tariff hikes as reasons for a more measured approach.
The cedi is depreciating, which is likely going to feed into inflation. And also we are now talking about some utility tariff adjustments. I'm sure the policy rate will be reduced, but not by a bigger margin. I think some people have called for 500 basis points, but I don't think it will be that much because they will also have to be careful not to open that or to cut it so drastically. So maybe somewhere around 150 to 200 basis points reduction should be okay. In other words, reducing it from 25 to 23% or 23.5% wouldn't be true.
The economist adds that a moderate cut will still ease borrowing cost for businesses while allowing the central bank room to manage inflationary risk.
Meanwhile, the research arm of IC Securities, IC Research, is forecasting that the Bank of Ghana's Monetary Policy Committee could slash the benchmark policy rate by as much as 300 basis points. The projection comes as businesses and industry leaders intensify calls for cheaper credit to spur growth, even as economists urge a more cautious and modest approach in light of currency pressures and expected utility tariff hikes.
The Bank of Ghana's Monetary Policy Committee is expected to deliver another significant rate at its September 2025 meeting, continuing its dovish stance. According to IC Research, the policy rate, currently at 25%, translates to a real interest rate of 13.5%, which could widen to over 15% without further action. This, the firm says, leaves enough room for another deep cut, projecting a 300 basis point reduction to 22%. Inflation has cooled sharply, falling to 11.5% in August, the lowest since October 2021, well before the authorities' 2025 target of 11.9%. The slowdown has been driven by sustained disinflation in transport fares, food, and favorable base effects. IC Research forecasts further easing in September, projecting year-to-date inflation to settle around 9.6% despite some month-on-month price increases. The expected policy decision will be closely watched by markets as Ghana navigates a delicate balance between growth and price stability. This comes after the MPC already slashed its rate by 300 basis points in July.
Away from that, the Chamber of Cement Manufacturers Ghana has expressed deep concern over the growing influx of imported bagged cement, particularly from Togo. According to the Chamber, the unregulated entry of these products pose a grave threat to the survival and competitiveness of Ghana's local cement industry. In a formal communication to the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Chief Executive of the Chamber, Dr. George Dosing Amwa, revealed that foreign cement brands, especially those originating from Togo, are rapidly flooding the Ghanaian market. And now, government failed to meet its target at the latest Treasury bill auction, securing only 6.248 billion cedis against a target of 8.28 billion cedis. That's according to results from the Bank of Ghana. The following through Business News Text report has the details.
The auction's results show a mixed picture across the different tenors. For the 91-day bill, government accepted 5.255 billion cedis from 5.499 billion cedis in offers at a yield of 10.53%. This tenor accounted for the vast majority of the funds raised. Bills for the 182-day bill amounted to 789 million cedis, with government accepting 784 million cedis at an interest rate of 12.44%. The auction for the 364-day bill received 214 million cedis in bids, and government took 209 million cedis at a yield of 12.95%. The results stand in contrast to the previous week's auction on September 5, where government successfully raised 4.36 billion cedis, surpassing its 3.78 billion cedis target by 575 million cedis. The oversubscription had been celebrated as a positive turnaround in investor sentiment toward short-term government debt following a series of undersubscribed auctions. Government heavily relies on the treasury bill market to refinance maturing debts and ease liquidity constraints. The shortfall in the latest auction could put renewed pressure on the country's finances and its ability to manage its debt obligations effectively.
And now let's look at how the city is faring against major trading currencies and how some key commodities are also faring on the global market.
The auction's results.
At its last sitting in July, the committee delivered a bold 300 basis point cut, bringing the rate down to 25% after inflation eased to its lowest level in nearly 3 years. As the committee begins its September deliberation.
We apologize for the wrong insert there, but that's it for the business segment on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. There's more news on our website, 3news.com. I am Noble Crosby Annan. Sunrise continues right away.